Zanondani, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Nerd Chat here on Electro Ninja's Lab. And I am here with my fellow host,
I'm Jack.
and Joker is not here today. He is moving, so that's fun. So he'll probably be gone for about a month, and then he'll be back. Yeah,
Which, if you think about it, that's 4 episodes. That's not a lot
it's
in the
not.
grand scheme of things.
No, I mean considering the fact that we have like over 60 something at this point.
Yeah, and a lot of them don't have me.
Yeah, that's true. Like, a lot of yeah. So we are currently at this is episode 66. So yeah. So
Well,
we'll see him when he gets back, I guess.
yep, and that's okay.
Yep. But anyways, so yeah. So we wanted to talk. So you want to talk about Promised Neverland, which
I
is
do.
which is our background. So that's why I'm not putting it in the freaking foreground. So yeah. So Promised Neverland.
So
How
I would
far are
like
you?
to reclass. I am on. Move cat. Excuse me. Volume. Um, I believe I've just finished 15.
15. Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah,
You still have a bit left. Um,
I have 5.
yeah. But so yeah, let's see. So that would be so you've met Norman. So Norman's back, right?
Norman's back. So basically, where 15 ended, they are in that weird Gracefield house that is not actually Gracefield House, but it's like an acid trip,
Oh,
and being chased by the tiny skull children going, "Come on, let's play. Let's
right,
play.
right, 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 right. Emma
Play."
and Ray are dealing with that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now they're chibi for some reason, and then they turn back into regular, and then they're looking at all these toys, and the toys are going, "Let's play, let's play, let's play."
Okay. So yeah, you are currently you're about to meet uh him. We'll just say that because that's like the
As we
old.
can't pronounce the fucking demon name, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So you're
yeah.
about to meet.
It
You're
says
basically about to meet God.
the 7 walls are inside here, and then it ends.
Yeah,
You know, move, cat. What part of move was so hard?
yeah. So pretty much everyone. So basically, the guy that you're about to meet is basically the god of this world.
Nice.
So yeah, that's that's fun. Um, and you're gonna be just like some parts of this you're just gonna be like, wait, what the fuck is gonna happen? What are you doing?
Uh, I've been like that for the entire series, bud. I have. So let's recap. For those who don't know, Promised Neverland is a horror manga and anime, but I'd like to reclassify it. I think it's more of a thriller because there's
Yeah,
no
it
jump
is.
scares, there's no like ghosts and well, I guess technically not really demons per se. They're more like monsters.
Yeah.
They
See,
don't. They're not. Because demons to me are like a specific thing. That's uh
yeah,
they're a specific thing. They're related to Satan, and I don't think these guys are related to Satan.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
So briefly, I just want to say one thing. So I would say, Promised Neverland is considered a thriller manga. However, due to the fact that the first season of the anime slash the first part of the manga, that whole segment is basically horror. Um, the whole series has kind of been classified as horror for like a good while, but in
why
actuality,
is
yeah,
that
it is.
classified horror though?
Huh?
Why is the first segment classified as horror though?
primarily because of the way that it starts with Connie's death.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So basically, that idea of what that is has just kind of stuck in people's head as being like, this is a thriller. This series, or not a thriller. This is a horror series. When in actuality, yeah, it like pretty much anyone who is like a steadfast fan of it has pretty much said it's a thriller. It's a mystery. Like both of those are way more accurate to what it is than saying it's a horror thing. Because
Yeah, like it's scary, but it's it's not terrifying.
yeah, like the demons are not like they're not evil is kind of a weird statement to make. Like
No,
yes,
they're deeply flawed, is what they are.
yeah, they're deeply flawed, and like part of the reason for that is like if you think about it, um, they're kind of trying. It kind of feels like the author is like trying to say something like, remember that we see animals like this, and that's how they see humans as basically animals. They're just something to feed upon. They're not necessarily
Yeah.
so. I think that there's a lot to it, and it's part. I don't think that the author is vegan. I don't know for sure, but there is kind of like that feeling about it. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, it's also like it's kind of trying to make sure that yeah, uh, this could happen at some point where we might be like, we don't consider certain creatures to we don't consider these creatures to be more than we don't consider these creatures to be the same as us. We consider them to be just animals, things to eat, and that's basically how the demons are. Um,
Yeah.
which
So in the
yeah,
first book, let's see. The first book, it's when oh yeah, they discover that they're like, oh, it's a wall,
yeah,
and Norman and Ray are kind of chafing under each other,
yeah,
and at the end of it, oh right, at the end of it, they're planning to kill Ray, Norman, and Emma because they're the highest grade, and it's for the what is it, Tefari.
yeah. That's basically like that's gonna be they are gonna be gifts for the basically their god.
Yeah. So they figure that out, so that's great. In the second book, uh, really in the first 3 to 4 books, nothing really happens, like at all.
Well, they're trying to they're mostly trying to figure things out. Like the big thing is like,
Yeah.
and let me like, there are certain things that it's like, oh yeah, they're setting a lot of things up, especially for later on in the series, such as like the pen is like super freaking important. Um,
But
what's
the
his?
pen isn't even in the first book.
Yeah,
Or the
it's not in the
second book.
first book. It's like it's revealed later on, and but like I keep coming back to that specifically because it's just like that is the big. That is like one of the biggest MacGuffins of the series, besides the
That's true.
necklace.
It appears in episode or volume 3,
Yeah, so that shows up in
and that's one of those Chekhov guns you're talking about.
yeah, and then there's also the necklace that what's her name that Mujika gives Emma, which that's super important.
Right.
That's how they get into the seven walls.
7 walls.
Yeah, and there's lots of little
Right.
things like that that they set up all of these characters, and you really don't. Sometimes you're not really gonna realize it until you go back and either watch the series or read the series again, and then you're like, oh my gosh, they were setting up this all the way back then.
Yeah.
So and it's
Like what's an example?
well, I mean, like pretty much no one believed that Norman was dead when that happened.
Oh yeah, no. I figured what really gave it away, and I don't know how they could have remedied this, because I really truly think they were trying to quietly foreshadow, but accidentally just gave away the whole thing. Because um, what tipped it off for me that Norman wasn't dead is that they didn't show him dead.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they specifically have him walking to the gate, and then when they get to the gate, they say,
Let's see.
they take him off to another room before this happens. And it's like, okay, clearly this is not going to be that.
Okay, so Norman goes in book 3.
Yeah. But but what I was thinking was really funny is like, at the time, because of the fact that the anime had not revealed that Norman was alive yet, people were like, for spoilers for the series, for like these fan dubs, or they were fan comics. They were fan comics, and they were basically saying, for those who to avoid spoilers, don't watch this or whatever. And it's like, okay, but firstly, it's a fan thing. It's a fan comic, and second thing, it's like, yeah, everyone knew he was alive. Like, it's I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird situation with that whole thing.
Yeah.
But it was like, no one thought he was dead. Like, if you did think he was dead, then you're not the target audience for this.
Yeah. And then in 14, we see Norman again, who has apparently had a ridiculous growth spurt in the last year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that's partially because of fucking Lambda. Lambda was really fucked up. They kind of reveal.
Oh.
Yeah, like even though like they're all tall and they look like adults, they are all the same age as Emma and Norman and Ray. Like, all of those main characters are all the same age. They're but for whatever reason they had a growth spurt. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, like even the Brainiac guy, and in fact the youngest
is Zazie.
Yeah, Zazie is like, I want to say 3.
Are you saying Vincent is also like 12?
I think so.
13?
Somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly his age, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Wow.
There's a lot. Lambda fucked him up. So you've now met the character that I assumed would be your favorite.
Who's that?
Zazie.
Oh, I do love Zazie. He's cute.
Yeah. He's a great character. I do love him, but he's not my favorite. You know that.
He's 5. He's 6'5", you mean? No, he's 5.
Yeah, he's 5 years old, and it's just like, dang. He's all. I think. I don't. I don't know. They specifically say that like, all of them are basically dying because of what Lambda did to them.
Yeah.
So I don't know for a fact if any of I know that at least Norman lives. I know he lives throughout this entire thing. I don't know if all of them live. I know that the Brainiac guy, I'm forgetting what, Vincent, is that what his name was?
Yes.
So I think he lives because he's in the extra thing.
Okay.
And he's kind of responsible for finding Emma after what happens. So, yeah.
Something happens to them on their Seven Walls journey?
Not in their Seven Walls journey. It's basically right at the end when they are finally leaving the Demon's World. She gets separated, and that's as far as I'm gonna say.
Of course she does.
Yeah, so, it has something to do with what goes on during the Seven Walls, but it's not exactly, but you're not gonna really completely figure it out until after you get to that point.
Okay.
And I'm not, yeah, like, even, like, the discussion that they have is like way like it makes it sound way worse than it is. Like it makes it sound like she's gonna die, but in actual, but no, she doesn't die. But I will say that right now, um, she does not die. She lives throughout the. She's living even in the last the extra chapter that was put into the um extra book. So yeah, and that's pretty much their happily ever after. So that's good. But yeah, so it's fun. I think that you'll enjoy that last little bit. Um, I think so. So let's see. So you still have the final battle against the demons. And then I think then you have to, and then there's the Grace Field, where they go to save Phil and everyone. Yeah, so those
they are gonna go back to Gracefield and save everybody.
Yep, that's the. I believe that is the last. That is the last arc before the basically the final chapters, which is basically where they're getting their happily ever after.
Oh, good.
So yeah, it's interesting. Um, so yeah, I think you'll really enjoy that part. I don't want to spoil too much with that, and even when you do get to that point, I don't think that I should spoil that thing because there's a lot of people even though the series has been done for a good while, people still get iffy about that spoiler. So there's that. But yeah, it's also another weird thing because a lot of people didn't like how it ended, and I'm not exactly certain why. Basically, when the series ended, right around the same time, the series ended right around the same time that the second season started, and people were like, "What the fuck? This ending sucks." Blah 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 blah. And I did not actually I didn't get I was not around. I was not actually reading it with everyone as it was releasing over in Japan, so I didn't know. But I found out later, and I'm like, why do you hate this? This is a good ending. This is a really good ending. Like, like obviously there are certain things that happen, and it's like I can understand why you're upset, but you don't need to be that upset. Maybe it's just because I watched the second season, and then I read that, and I was like, yeah, the second season was way worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you've gotten pretty far at that point. At this point, I think that I'll just go ahead and spoil the entirety of the second season for you. So basically, the second season of the anime starts off with right after they escape from Gracefield, and it looks like it's gonna stay with the actual series. Goes all the way to basically they get to the bunker. They do skip like a few minor scenes, but they get all the way to the bunker, and then the bunker gets attacked. They do not do Gracefield at all, or not Gracefield. Sorry, Goldie Pond. They don't do that.
Glory.
Yeah, they don't do Goldie Pond at all. So none of those characters are even involved in the anime. Which is really sad because they're like super important characters going continuing on. Then then it deals with the them going to that one temple where they were like trying to get information on basically the god of this world, and so they go to that temple. They're dealing with the village, and the two guys that are trying to save their sister, they run into them, and they get killed by Norman's crew. And you meet Norman, and it's just like it's such a weird situation, and Norman hasn't aged. Like compare like obviously you see him in the book, he's like he looks like an adult. to like maybe a late teenager or something, but he looks like an adult. Meanwhile, in the anime, he is still the exact same age. He has not aged at all. And then there's everyone else. So and I think they only had like Vincent and Zazie. They didn't have the other group, the rest of them. So so then they attack the Demon Queen. That is a very short part of the series. That is a very short part of the anime. I don't even. I kind of feel like they skipped over everything for that. And then after they do that, they go to Gracefield, fight in Gracefield, kill Rotary, or do they? I don't know. Not I think they might even let him live. I don't remember. They completely changed like a good majority of that ending, and then they go through the gate, and then they never did the seven walls. They never did the meeting with God is a single image, rescuing all of the different kids across all of the different farms. That's all done with like a hand wave. It's just a picture. It's just a whole bunch of pictures, and then at the very end, and basically they changed it so that Emma is saying no, I'll be coming later, basically because she needs to. It's implying that they're gonna redo all of the different things that was supposed to happen. They were gonna go do seven walls. They were gonna bring everyone home, stuff like that. And then they do that all through pictures. So Phil and that group go, and then after all of that, they get into a final scene where Emma joins them in the human world, and she's with I think Norman and Ray, and they come up and she's smiling, and that is not how things go in the series. I'll tell you that much. The manga does not have that be the way that she reunites with everyone.
Well, that's good.
So it's really really bad. It's just like they just did some weird. They decided to do some really weird shit with the anime, and pretty much everyone agrees that the second season does not exist. And we're trying to get like people want the author to get back control of the series, and then and then redo the entire series as the manga said, which was really weird because like I said, a lot of people didn't like the ending for the manga, and then the anime happened and everyone united. No, we want that ending. We want to actually go through the entire series. We want to see that happen. We want to see that is how the ending should be. It should not be this ending where Emma is just coming back from the demon world after she's saved all of the farm kids, and she's completely fine. That is not how we should be seeing it. So it's weird. It's very weird, and it's a very odd moment, and they there's a lot of emotions in that final episode or that final chapter where they finally do find Emma, and honestly, I cried a little bit when they finally reunited with her, and I'm not gonna go into much more detail than that because it's a very interesting ending. So yeah, there's a lot more emotions, and they really don't portray that very well in the anime. They don't portray. So yeah, pretty much everyone has basically agreed the second season of Promised Neverland does not exist. We just want a remake. So
that's fair.
So we'll see if that ever happens. But yeah, it's fun. We'll see how things go from here. But so yeah, you like Zazie. Who else? What do you think of the Goldie Pond crew? I don't think I asked that.
I think that was actually one of the more interesting plot points was Goldie Pond because
Yeah.
when you get like you, I'm not sure. I still can't put together whether that particular part was Norman or not.
Wait, which particular part? The
part. The part where which Minerva messages were Norman and which were not?
Oh.
Which one were James?
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
So was Norman telling them to go to Goldie Pond and like did he do that or
So Goldie Pond used to be an escape route. That was something that was set up by the original original Minerva.
Okay.
Because remember that
right, they said he set up the town.
Yep. Goldie Pond was supposed to be a place where the kids could rest before they went into the human world. That was always supposed to be what it was. And then the demons took over and yeah, caused a huge amount of chaos.
Got it.
Yeah. So
how did the demons get control?
Huh?
I forget.
So
how did the demons? I know this is explained, but I forgot.
So pretty much the demons, they just found it, and then they gave it to the main guy who happened to be there, and he basically turned it into a spectacle. That's pretty much all it is. It's like we want to be able to hunt these guys. We want to be able to hunt humans. Blah 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 blah. And I mean fair. But I do think that it's kind of interesting, especially they haven't really set up very much with Mujika at this point. I don't think they've hinted at certain things about her, but they haven't done much with her. But notice how like Sanju, he said that he did want to hunt humans again.
Yeah, but Mujika did not.
Yeah, exactly. But also, at this point, you've seen that if a demon doesn't eat humans, they turn into monsters.
Yeah.
And if they're not eating good parts of humans, they kind of get deformed in general.
Yeah.
Even if they still have like a good amount of themselves, but at the same time, if they are not eating enough of the proper amount of humans, they do start to look more and more monstrous.
Right.
So unless they eat brains.
No, because the what is it? What did Norman call them? The evil-blooded.
Yep.
Exist.
Yep. So they have mentioned it. But notice that the only people that you've met that don't eat humans and are still normal is Sanju and Mujika.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically what I'm getting at is that they are connected to the evil-blooded. Specifically, Mujika is the evil-blooded.
Right. Yeah. No. Norman said that flat out.
Oh, he did? Okay, I wasn't certain if he had said that yet.
He did.
Okay. Yeah, so she is quote unquote the evil-blooded. And basically, yeah, so basically if people drink her blood or specifically if demons drink her blood, they become humanoid and they stay humanoid forever. Yes. And it's really interesting, and it's basically the way that they make it so that the farms no longer have to exist. Because basically after the stuff with the demons happens, she gives out her blood to pretty much everyone, and the demons no longer have to eat humans, and they can continue on with their lives. So
well, that's good.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. The way that they do it is really cool. I don't mind spoiling that because it's like, yeah, you kind of expect that. They're basically there's a good happy ending for pretty much everyone, and that's honestly I think it's incredible that they were able to do that because
That is cool.
even though like anyone who wasn't basically the random civilians who were they all get to live and stuff like that. Um, Pretty much anyone who is basically just being an asshole are the ones who get their comeuppance, and everyone else gets to live. And it's really cool. I think that
That is kind of neat.
some characters do die because it's a battle, but like afterwards, pretty much everyone lives. So it's cool. Um, like obviously certain characters have died, certain characters will continue to die. But as a whole, it's it's interesting. I'm intrigued to see how they're going to continue the series. Um,
So I have a question now.
yeah.
Okay, so I think I can't remember where 13 maybe we find out that Phil and all the littles have been sent to other farms.
Kind of. They're still in Gracefield.
Okay, so they've all okay. That makes sense. So none of the rules have changed. That was my concern because the other farms, like I know, when they meet what's his nuts, they find out that other farms have higher or different ages.
Yeah.
That they ship.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things with that. So like the mass production farms, none of them would ever be sent to those. Period. Because they're too smart.
Right.
So they are only sent to Gracefield, and they're basically so Gracefield is 5 farms, or 5 orphanages, and one of them is the was the one that got burned down. Just one of those farms got burned down, and that was the one that they were in. The others are still completely fine. They were basically just moved to one of the other 4. And then I think that the other one was and then that one's being rebuilt or something is basically the plan. But they never. I don't think they ever get to the point where they're actually able to rebuild that entire spot.
Well, yeah. It's funny that it doesn't take 2.5 years or a year and a half to build a damn house.
No, but they do want to like make sure that it's a bit more secure, make sure that things are proper because like obviously the kids escaped from that one. They want to make sure that there's not like they didn't leave anything behind, so that if they do set something up, then and you need to scour that thing very, 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 very much. So it kind of depends on how much they're. I don't know if they might have done something. They might have been able to finish it, but at the same time, like none of the kids that were in that specific one would have been shipped out because they're all so young.
Right.
So yeah, there's that.
That's good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. It's interesting to see how they did that. But yeah, they're all still in Gracefield. There is some other so obviously the other characters. There are other farms, specifically high-end farms, and most of pretty much any kid that has numbers on them are from a high-end farm, and Norman has rescued a lot of them. So yeah, he mostly focused on doing the mass production farms, but he did go to a few of the high-end ones to try and save them. And there's like kids from all over. But pretty much all of Lambda, the Lambda kids, they come from several different farms. The Gracefield kids,
Lambda kids, like Adam, didn't Adam come from a mass production farm?
Yep. He is the only main character. I believe he's the only one that actually came from a mass production farm.
That's why he doesn't really know words.
Exactly. So he's like the only Lambda kid that was like that, and that's why he was sent over to the to Goldie Pond, because like they had no more use for him. So why not just
Gotcha.
give him to the people who are hunting them? So yeah, there's that. Um, so what do you think of the flower though?
The flower is really interesting. It being how, like, first of all, I don't really understand how the flower drains the blood. That doesn't really make sense.
It's basically a vampiric flower.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I liked how Mujika and Sanju described that it was a like a cultural thing.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of made it seem less like the murder weapon and more like just a thing. It actually clear to me they really kind of do view humans as essentially animals because I just lost the entire sentence I was saying.
One sec. Okay. So you lost your thought process?
I did. Yeah, it's gone.
Okay. But yeah, it's basically just a cultural thing. It's just something that
Oh yes, because they're thanking the whatever gods or deities or fucking whatever it is for the food.
yeah, it's basically like how we when we how Christians and other religions will say a quick prayer before they eat. Basically just thanking like obviously we thank God, and then other people will thank whatever their gods are for blessing the meal or whatever. Um, it's
Yeah.
basically that's all it is. Which I also think is kind of interesting because Emma kind of picks up that idea and still uses it when she's hunting like regular animals.
Yeah, well, that's also because that's how she was taught to hunt, because she was taught to hunt by Mujika and Sanju.
Yeah.
Actually, that makes me think of a really interesting parallel between, like, it almost feels like the demons are like a what would have happened if the natives turned back on us kind of situation.
I mean, to
Like
a certain, I mean, I kind of see what you're saying.
They are the. I mean, they're not the what was on Earth originally, but
Yeah, like I said before, this is kind of an alternate universe type thing.
Yeah.
Because they specifically mentioned that it's like a 1,000 years ago or whatever is when the two worlds separated.
Yeah, 1,000 years before 2046. So it's not. It's a long. It's a while ago. That was.
Yeah.
That would have been. Let's see.
1046.
1046. Yeah. So that would have been 1046. 1046. Let's see. What interesting things that happened in 1046.
Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know.
Huh. Well, there was a really cool thing. Let's see. Persian scholar Nasser Khosrow begins the 7-year Middle Eastern journey in which he will later describe in his book Safarnama. King Henry gives money to Utrecht Deventer Diocese. Pope Gregory the Sixth abdicates at the Council of Sutri, ending a conflict between himself and Benedict IX and Sylvester III. Clement II becomes the new pope.
Well, I mean, one thing that I'm kind of thinking about is like that's not exactly where it would be, but a lot of different the exact timing. I don't think that matters, but like right around there is when people stopped really believing as much in like the supernatural as being actual real things.
Yeah.
So that I mean, like I said, that's not exact timing, but at the same time, it's like a lot of different cultures really stopped believing in the supernatural, because of like mostly because of Christianity, but at the same time, other there was a lot of reasons why it slowly just died out, and there was like a lot fewer people who were like, yeah, the supernatural are real things that are constantly causing issues with us. So
Yes.
so I think that's probably the big thing that they're trying to say is like, yeah, 1,000 years ago we kind of got separated, and then humans just forgot about demons completely over time.
Yep.
And then, like, obviously we still have myths and legends about them, but as a whole they've just kind of disappeared.
They're not our main belief system, yeah.
Yeah. So that's
The
an
other
interesting
manga
idea.
that I have, I'm now 5 away from finishing this series. After I finish this series, which will probably be this weekend, I have to read. I have to read Astro Boy because I bought the omnibus, but I don't think I'm gonna read that first because I just got it.
Fair enough.
Because I have other lists I have to read. For instance, this is screwed up, but I was reincarnated as the girl in another world.
Yeah, that's an interesting series.
And then I have the Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir.
Yeah.
And then the only manga I own, or not the only manga I own, but the only manga that I haven't read yet that I own that I actually picked out for myself, besides Astro Boy, is Twisted Wonderland.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So wait, which? I just want to make sure which one it is that you have, because there's actually a few different series that with the Twisted Wonderland. So
This is the Beast of Heartslable.
Okay. So we have the same one.
Yeah.
I just have the first volume. I haven't even started reading it yet, but it looks interesting.
I just have the first one as well.
This
one seemed interesting to me because this one follows the quote-unquote evil side of Wonderland.
Yeah. I'm intrigued to see exactly what they're going to do with it because, let me see here. So reading. Here we go. Twisted Wonderland. This does not have very many, volumes. It only has 4.
Yeah.
For this specific, series. Let's see here. Because I know that... So there is a sequel series which is called Twisted Wonderland, episode of Savannah Claw, which apparently is still going. And I guess that there's more stuff. There is more stuff. That's interesting. I guess I think they're figuring out certain things with that because it's just like there's a lot with that. We'll see how that goes.
There's book 2. Oh, book 2 hasn't even been released.
Really? I did not know that.
No. Apparently they haven't been released in the States. It will be released November 14th.
Wow.
You can pre-order it, so I actually feel quite good about that.
Yeah.
And then...
So there's Twisted Wonderland anthology comic?
There's what?
So there's Twisted Wonderland anthology comic, which that looks like that's the main series, and that's specifically focusing on the good guys of this universe. Well, this is specifically focusing on the bad guys.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting. Maybe we should read that at some point. But that's still going.
Did you send me the link to that because I can't find it.
I'm just looking at my anime list.
Oh.
So let me.
Well, it doesn't appear to be for sale in the United States, my guy.
Okay. So it's probably coming then. It's just like
yeah,
because it was published in The first
Japan.
volume was in 2020, so that's weird.
Yeah,
So
so,
it-
the second volume is coming out in November, and then the third volume is coming out in March. And then let's see. Oh, the fourth one doesn't even exist yet, apparently.
Yeah, it's
So-
probably just been confirmed that it's coming. But Twisted Wonderland is
Yeah.
kind of in a weird situation because it's Disney wanted to do like a weird anime thing, and then this came about, and it's not even like I think that the figures and stuff were actually the first things that they were doing, and then they decided let's make this into an actual series or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to read the Stitch manga.
Fair enough.
That just looks hilarious. Oh my god, there's a Frozen 2 the manga.
There's lots of really weird manga, especially
there's
with
more
Disney.
than there's 2 Stitch mangas actually.
There's Stitch and the Samurai, which has 3 volumes, and then I don't remember the other. There's another one?
There's yeah, it's just called Stitch with an exclamation point.
Oh, that thing! I know exactly what that is now. At least I'm pretty sure that's what I think it is. At least if it's connected to the anime.
I have no idea.
So that's the anime. Stitch. Okay, let's see here. That one. It does not show me any. Why does it not show me anything? So it might not be connected with the anime. So there's an anime, which is Stitch exclamation point, and it's basically a sequel series where afterwards, Lilo and him got separated in Japan, and now he's hanging out with a new girl, and then he meets Lilo years later, and she's much older, and he also runs
weird.
into her. He runs into her daughter, who looks exactly like she did when she was little.
Is Spy Family finished?
Spy Family is not. There are currently 9 volumes with number 10 coming out soon.
Got it. Okay.
Let me see here.
Oh, October 17th. Okay.
Yeah, it's soon, but yeah. So that's coming soon.
So I think I'm just gonna buy the set of books 1 through 9.
Fair enough.
I did with Promise Neverland, and then just as they come out, I guess get the new ones.
Yeah.
That's one I don't mind not being finished because it has so damn many already that, like, by the time I read.
So what kind of so you're okay with reading series that are longer, but they just haven't even if they haven't finished?
Yeah, so like, if you had suggested Promise Neverland to me, and there were already 12 books out, but you knew there were going to be 20, I probably would have been okay with that.
Okay.
But if you suggest me, like, Pandora 7, where we don't know when the next one's coming out,
Yeah.
that's hard for me, because I don't like not knowing.
Yeah.
I
So
also, you know, hold on.
So yeah, there are like several series that are still going and that have longer things than that that I could probably suggest to you. One of which that I absolutely love is Reincarnated as a Sword, and me and Ben both love this series, so that should just tell you like how good it is.
It's what? Which one?
Reincarnated as a Sword. It's kind of an interesting series because of the fact that it's the main character is not the one that is in the title card. So the main character is Fran, and then the sword in question is kind of like her All Might.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think you would absolutely enjoy it if you if you get around to checking it out at some point.
And it doesn't seem to come in a set.
Yeah, most series don't come in sets, unfortunately. Um,
On
for
Amazon
quite a while.
they sell like not box sets per se, but like
Collections, yeah.
clumps.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, like obviously Promised Neverland did that. Promised Neverland is actually kind of a weird situation that you bought that you bought a non-box set because there is a box set. So
This was cheaper.
okay, that makes sense then. But yeah, like Assassination Classroom is done. Or Demon Slayer is done. There's lots of different series that are done and they're really long. And then like
So
The complete
Yeah.
box set for Assassination Classroom. Is that a good series?
what is?
Assassination Classroom.
Oh, absolutely. Even Moon would agree.
Would I like it?
Probably.
Okay.
It's a comedy basically. So the big smiley faced guy with tentacles, he destroyed the moon, and he wants to be a teacher. So the students are required. So the government basically tasks the students with killing him, and then he basically becomes like the best teacher ever, while also
Nice.
while also wanting them to kill him, but also he doesn't go
Nice.
easy on them until the end. But that's beside the point.
So does it end with them killing him or what?
Yes, it does end with them killing him, but it's
That's
so
awesome.
it's like legitimately. I've watched the anime twice now, and every time that I watch that I listen to the final opening song, I cry because it's so freaking sad. It's called Bye Bye Yesterday, and it's basically saying goodbye to all of the good times that they had, while also seeing that they're gonna go on to the onto their next phase, which it's really an interesting story. They're saying goodbye to Koro Sensei, while also continuing on with their lives, and yeah. Like I said, yeah, the series, you know how it's gonna end from the very beginning. They're gonna kill Koro Sensei.
Yeah.
And basically yeah, there's some interesting stuff. It's really sad, especially, but I don't want to spoil that part. Why it's so very fucking sad. Why they have to kill him.
Yeah.
Because like well, I mean, they're told that they have to kill him before the end of before they graduate, or else he'll destroy the world. And that's as far as I'm gonna say. So yeah, so it's interesting, but there's other things with that as well, and I'm not gonna get into all of that. But yeah, you should absolutely read Assassination Classroom. There's a lot of other series that I would also suggest that aren't completed, but I would say that you should at some point read them. Like I really like That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. I'm not certain if you would like it, but it's fun. Yakuza Reincarnation, I'm not certain if you would want to start that yet because it has 7 volumes and it's gonna continue for quite a while. Zom 100 has 11, and that's gonna continue for a while. Which
I'm not really big into zombies.
huh?
Not really. Damn.
It's a comedy. It's not.
No, I know, but like, I don't know. Zombies don't do it for me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's a comedy zombie manga. It's basically where basically the main character feels like a zombie in his day-to-day life, and then the zombie apocalypse happens and he celebrates because of the fact that he finally doesn't have to go to work. So it's like the zombie part of it is like the least important part of it. The main point of the series is you need to live your best life, even if it's um uh, because you never know when the worst is going to happen.
So I'm hearing I need to also read My Hero Academia. I've heard that from multiple people.
Yeah, I would say that you should. I also say that you should read the spinoff, specifically uh, My Hero Academia Vigilantes, because it's a prequel and it's I don't think there shouldn't be any spoilers. So if I would say start with that because um that'll be done soon here in America. It still has one volume that's coming this way, but it's been done now. It's complete. So you can probably read that and be fine. Um, I do so there and that has 15 volumes in total. My Hero Academia itself has 35 currently, with I believe 38, maybe 40 in total. Once it's done,
What does?
My Hero has somewhere around 40 is going to be where it's going to finish.
Gotcha.
Um, then there are the other spin-offs. There's School Briefs, which basically, um, they're they're light novels, and they basically tell some extra stories around whatever the specific time is. So, for example, the first volume of School Briefs deals with the first season, and basically it's connected to whatever the whatever the most recent season was. Um, I don't know if they're going to. I don't know if they're going to continue that. Um, Team up missions is something that happens later on. Um, so don't get that yet, but yeah, My Hero Academia. You could probably start that. Um, School Briefs at this point goes all the way through, I believe, the Vigilante arc, or somewhere thereabouts. Um, like I said, I'm not certain on that one. Um, and Vigilantes is a prequel, so like I said, I would say start with that, read through all of that, and then when you get to certain points in the manga, you're gonna be like, oh, that hurts. There are certain things that I would say you should probably read Vigilantes alongside My Hero, the main series, because there is like one character that is revealed when his identity gets revealed in the main series, um, as it was airing in Japan, the Vigilantes revealed basically how this character went down that path, and it's just it's really freaking sad if you read that before you read that he's back before you find out who he is. So yeah, they do not reveal who he is in Vigilantes. So when you get to that, so you could probably read Vigilantes first all the way through, and then when you get to that point, you're just gonna be like, "You did what?"
Yeah.
But pretty much that like everyone knows that at this point. But yeah, it's a very it's very sad, and that's one of the reasons why I always suggest read Vigilantes before you get to that point in the main series, because they just like it's basically you see it from these two characters' perspectives, and they don't like they do like a few flashbacks in the manga, but they do way more in the anime, because I don't think that they were planning on doing Vigilantes anytime soon. So yeah, we'll see if they decide to do Vigilantes as an anime, but yeah. So like I said, read Vigilantes first, then My Hero Academia, and then I would say School Briefs as they come up, and then team up missions once you get to the war arc, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you get there. So yeah, there's so that's that, and I think that's pretty much it. Like for the main series, don't worry about Smash. Smash is just a stupid spin-off that's just for fun, for shits and giggles, and that's all it is. And yeah, team up missions is kind of important, but you need to wait. And that's gonna be a while before that even before you you will not be getting to that point right away. Yeah, there's a lot of fun series that you should probably read, and I could give you like a ton of other suggestions, like Drifting Dragons. I've told the nerdy birdies that they should read that. So if the fact that I'm telling everyone to read it,
Dragons.
yeah, it's basically about hunting and eating dragons. Also, there's Delicious in Dungeon, which is also very similar, except that it's about being in a dungeon. And
No, I've read that one. Yeah.
yeah, you've read Delicious in Dungeon?
Not all of it, but I have it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, there's lots of really cool series. I don't want to overload you at this point, but yeah. Anyways, we've been recording for over an hour. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this video, and we will talk to you guys next time. But on